Hello guys, welcome to the Trading Parrot. I hope you're having a fantastic weekend. It's impressive to see that the price of Bitcoin is at 67K after breaking out from this pattern, and still there is very low levels of interest in Bitcoin across all social networks. You will have expected that after a breakout like this, people come back and start getting itchy for investing in Bitcoin or talking about it at least. But no, the engagement is at the lowest levels in the past year. And even though the momentum is showing that there should be a continuation to the upside and the volume of the inflows, it seems to be coming back into the ETFs. At the same time, we are starting to pile up once again loads of sell signals. And don't get me wrong, when there is a pump in Bitcoin, that's precisely what happens. You start breaking all the technicals and the price starts going nuts. But that usually happens together with retail and the dumb money increasing their greed to maximum levels. In today's video, we're going to cover the retracement from the Fibonacci point of view, and I'm gonna convince you why today or the next 48 hours are critical for Bitcoin to convince us that this is not just a dead cat bounce or a fake out move. I will put together all the information that I have found proving that this is a legitimate move to the upside. And I'm gonna pair that information together with everything that is saying that we are wrong and that there will be a pullback. We will look at that. We're gonna pay special attention to the liquidity to the downside to see if we have a pullback, how low can we afford to go as well. Guys, if you're enjoying your Saturday and you still want to watch this type of content, I would really appreciate that you hit the like, subscribe, enable that notification bell. Many new subscribers, but you guys are forgetting. And by the way, we are on a weekend, so have a look at the tradingparrot.com. I encourage you to go for the picnic. It's a free tier forever, lifetime. And if you scroll down to the page and you go to what's included full detail, you're gonna find loads of indicators that are included with the picnic tier for free. As the channel grows and more people are subscribed and the views increase, we're gonna start moving around some indicators from the higher tiers into the free tier. But that is all going to be as a sign of appreciation that you guys are hitting the like, leaving comments down below, and growing the channel. I really appreciate all the support. Let's go into the content. In my last video, I covered the monthly and I mentioned how important it is to please the eyes of the investors to close a candle above 50% of the damage made during the month of April. People want to see how much can we revert that damage. Hopefully, more than 50% of this red should be covered with this green for many investors and swing traders to feel more comfortable to re-enter the market. On the 2-month chart, you can see that even though you have this extremely ugly inverted hammer candle, so bearish, at the same time, we are kind of starting to build up quite a bullish one on the 2-month. But there's still 1.5 months for this candle to consolidate in this state or even higher to convince people as well that the 2-month candle will have no effect and we shouldn't be expecting a big pullback. You can see that since end of March, the ETFs have had red volume. Most of the candles around here are selling pressure. And we are just starting to see some strong green appearing just in the past day. That is a good sign. This looks like a deviation below the support and regaining the support. So all those things are part of the bullish stuff. The weekly stochastic RSI is still in the state of a bullish crossover. So if by Sunday we close anything like this, that's gonna be extremely bullish. Make sure that you're subscribed to the channel because by Sunday, as soon as we close that candle, I'm gonna let you know. And the best way to stay up to date with everything that is going on that really matters for Bitcoin is follow me on Twitter. My handle is Trading Parrot. The previous highest close in the past cycle was around 65.6, and the fact that we are right above it here, it's a great thing. But let's be very careful with this because still the volume hasn't reached the moving average. all fights between bulls and bears, with whichever team that wins, you must confirm that the volume overcomes or at least makes a slight touch to the moving average, meaning that there was enough volume in that move and that the move is not manipulative. In terms of the momentum, you can see clearly here on the daily that the channel to the downside seems to be completed. We broke out on the 3rd of May and we started doing higher highs, even a double bottom within this squeeze that later turned out to hit precisely our target right above the next resistance, which is this white line. We said in the previous video, hopefully we are going to retest in between this white line and the final support here, which is this dotted red line. Things got so bullish that the retest was precisely at the white line, and currently we're doing a higher high, so things for the daily are looking extremely bullish for a continuation following the green arrow. So you might be thinking now, so why are you worried? I'm gonna show you a few facts that are concerning, not necessarily for you to dump all your Bitcoin holdings or to start shorting from here, but just for the sake of getting you well informed in both aspects. Guys, I don't want just to share bullish things like any other channel. There are enough channels just selling you the crap that there is the breakout and that's it. I assume that you're joining this channel and you are interested in this content because you want to see both sides of the story. Ideally, you're going to assess both things and you're going to be able to decide what's more important. It's not a black and white, buy everything or sell everything. Sometimes it's a matter of reducing some risks at the right time, and at times where the risk starts to drop, we can increase that risk accordingly. Total 3 on the 4 hour is already doing a breakdown. It retests this trend line as a resistance on the RSI 4 hour, and the most likely scenario is that the momentum is going to start going down. If you're new in the channel, momentum going down doesn't necessarily mean that the price comes down. Sometimes it only takes some sideways. It depends on how bullish the market is. The Bitcoin dominance could be about to form a double top. We need to see how we close this weekend. That's also extremely important to monitor by Sunday evening. We are forming a bearish divergence. If we were to close the Bitcoin dominance like this, with an RSI weekly of 63, you can see that we are doing a lower low in the momentum. So even if we close here slightly higher, the momentum is starting to get lost, which is increasing the odds for this to come here for a retest at the very least of this trend line. So looking back at the daily, the pattern looks beautiful. Let's have a look at the things that are not looking super bullish for Bitcoin right now. Just looking at the Fibonacci retracement here. If we make one from the top, 73.9, and we go all the way to 56,000, you're going to notice that we managed to overcome the 50% level, which is mildly bullish, but in fact, at this point here, we already touched the 50%, and that was the level that rejected us from 67 to 56. So that's around 10K retracement from there. So these areas where we are loaded in risk because right now we conquered the 50% and we are approaching the 0.618. So we are within the golden pocket in the Fibonacci. Being anywhere around here from now turns this from very bullish into extremely bullish. Here is where we could start seeing another leg up in the interest in Bitcoin. That could bring another chunk of money into the market. Because currently we are at record levels of interactions across all social networks in regards to Bitcoin. I could even go 1 year ago, and the only times I find it so low is like around mid-July in 2023. I'm just going to put a few more incredibly important factors that could make a decent pullback potentially to still retest the breakout or maybe to completely spoil it. We still have one at 62 and one at 61, and I'm so surprised that we haven't taken not even the 62 one. On the 4-hour, we are within this channel, and every time we are hitting these highs, we're getting some sort of retracement. When we were around here, I was expecting this leg to touch the support. We haven't done it yet, but I think since we are starting to print some bearish divergences, we're overdue for coming back here and testing that support. If you wonder what price corresponds to this line here, that price corresponds currently with 65.8. The last time I talked about this, it was corresponding with 64, but since the RSI moves with the price, this reverse engineer version is going to start chasing the price. And the higher the price goes, the higher that support is going to be. Notice that I have an anchor VWAP here from the time we started breaking out to this price, and currently is pointing at 63,000. I still believe that between 64 and 63, there's tons of liquidity to be taken. We can find that around here. And if we look at the order book, some new sneaky orders are starting to pile up here at the higher end. Actually, there's 860 at around 73k people that are thinking that the price could pump to those levels. They move those levels from 72 to 73. Next, we have a very small resistance of 300 at 70k. And of course, following the price very closely, there are some levels. We have a 200 there and 200 here, not very significant. And in terms of support, there's quite a lot of levels, not very big ones, almost all of them of 200, but spread away from each other, trying to hold the price. We have 500 at 63.7 and 280 at 63. As I said, if we get that pullback to 64, I think this liquidity should be enough to hold the price. If it doesn't hold the price, there's a huge vacuum between 63, very little liquidity, very thin the order book to the downside, up until we get to 53. These scenarios of massive dumps are low likely, but I think that if that 63, 64 doesn't hold, there is a chance that we could have a big move just because the order book is very thin, unless it's a manipulative move to make people believe that we could fall that big. The next signal that is slightly bearish is the active adverse sentiment indicator that currently is getting to areas of topping out, meaning that in the next weeks or days, we could see some local top. You can see the last time we were above the red was here and there. In this area here, we went sideways, and in this area here, we continue pushing higher, but eventually we reach the top of 73, and once the AASI starts breaking below the red, that is actually your high quality conservative sell signal. As I mentioned in the previous video, this liquidity was very attractive for the price to ignore it. It's just there next to the price, and we are currently in the process of consuming it. So this is actually a bullish signal because we have all this liquidity here from more than a month ago, and above 72, 73, there's a heck of a lot of liquidity, let's face it. I'm gonna give you a few signals from the Hive, from Leverage Squeeze. All of them are extremely high quality sell signals that could shake a little bit the market if they play out. Of course, they have a ratio of success, but before I show you those, make sure that you keep an eye on the performance of the copy trading bots. The link is in the description. And if you want to trade with a proper exchange, I have a pool of $60,000. The link is in the description for OKX. That's my favorite exchange. It comes back with features, and a second sponsor, which is BingX, is very KYC friendly. You can trade perpetuals pretty much across the globe, and it's also offering a 6,000 in rewards. Have a look at the links in the description. If you can get one of these accounts, it really helps the channel to continue putting this content together. The next topic signal, guys, bearish one, is that we are starting to accumulate leverage squeeze signals at around 67k. The last one that we had was a 64.6 and we went to 61. The red ones, I have to say, are not very accurate during bull markets, but the yellow ones are, and since we are getting both together, I'm starting to pay a little bit more attention at what happens right after this. Next, we are starting to have some signals from VIX SPY. This one is looking into the fear index on the 1 hour time frame. The next bearish signal that we have here is coming from the hive. This indicator is aggregating all the bearish divergence from many oscillators, and if it reaches a threshold, it triggers a signal. You can see that the past ones have been pretty good, with the exception of this one on 12th of February, and right now this one it's saying that we are going to 64.1. All the signals, I keep publishing them on Twitter. Do not forget to follow me. My handle is Trading Parrot. And before I let you go, I'm gonna give you two bullish things that are currently happening that are making me excited. This one in particular is starting to make the Ethereum BTC pair slightly more bullish. I remind you that I mark this level of support at 45.78. I say that that was a level of resistance in February 2021, and right now we are approaching it. We were slightly below it, and you can see that little by little we are closing above it at 46. That is consistent with what we're seeing in the momentum. So hopefully that could become the pivot. I've been talking about this for the past few days. Even when we were below it, I say let's cross finger that before Sunday we close above this. Why do I care about the Ethereum BTC pair? Because this is the second more important indicator of an altcoin season apart from the Bitcoin dominance. The Bitcoin dominance forming a double top potentially and breaking below that resistance is the number one, but the number two is holding this support right here and eventually breaking above the 51.98, and the third test is to break above this resistance in a similar way as we did already with the momentum on the 8th of January. So 3 months after, potentially we could start seeing the Ethereum BTC pair catching up, and that is your signal for altcoin season. That increases the odds for that to play out. And the last bullish one before I let you go, I remind you that I've been monitoring this inverse head and shoulders in the greed and fear index. I say that the neck is located at 70 and that hopefully by today we have any value above 70, because that could be confirming a breakout of the grid. And if we break out from this pattern, we could be heading for extreme greed levels of 90. If we see levels of 90, guys, that could bring all the altcoins to new highs, including low cap and all of that. So let's see if this full narrative complex with multiple elements and pieces end up playing out in the near term. And as you can see, the grid is now at 73. For 2 days, we've been at 73 and 74. So that could be that we are confirming that breakout. Hit the like and leave a comment below to support the channel, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.